Happy birthday to our country. Our country has been going through a bit of self-examination over the last few years, especially in the last year. George Floyd's death and many of the things that have transpired in the last 18 months have caused us to look again at who we are as a country, and sometimes to hear the words of aspiration in the Declaration of Independence and other documents as though they were false. And I would like to propose something today, that we treat the country with the same degree of forgiveness and kindness that we would like to be treated ourselves. Truly, we needed to come forward and see ourselves more clearly. Country for many people. And that we came to this country, mostly Europeans, white Europeans came to this country, and the first thing we did was commit genocide with the native population, and the second thing we did was enslave other people, mostly Africans. So this becomes our legacy as much as the great things we have done as a country. And part of what we need to be able to do as a people is to look honestly at what we have done poorly and to look honestly at what we have done well. And so if we don't look at it, then we probably won't correct it. We have this as a legacy, but it does not have to be our future. And by that, I mean that the aspirational words of the Declaration of Independence and other documents of the United States are still true, and many of us still hold them in our hearts as a possibility for this country, which for many around the world is a bright and shining light of what life could be like, what freedom would be like, what the possibility of self-governance means from many one. And that, I think, is one of the beauties of the United States, is that we have taken and continue to take people from not of this continent and blend them together into a multi-racial, multi-ethnic, multi-religion, multi-educational society that is able to pull together to create some amazing things. Since the time of Thomas Jefferson, when he wrote those famous words that we hold that all people are equal, when he wrote something so eloquent as to say we were all essentially children of the divine, and therefore we had certain rights that come from that. He wrote that. I think he was not thinking as broadly as we are today. But part of the beauty of the evolving nature of a nation is that it can take what it has done well and build on it. And we as a nation, through fits and starts, and often against some people's wills, we have been able to pull ourselves toward those words that all men are created equal, meaning all people are created equal. And I would love for us to acknowledge on this day, the 4th of July, that while we have not done it well and not done it evenly, we have begun to move toward it and will continue to move toward it for probably hundreds of years to come. In so many ways, we're just on the beginning of this quest for really truly seeing each other as ourselves, and doing so, then treating each other as though we were family. Even in families, of course, we have disagreements. Even in families, sometimes our hearts are broken by something somebody said or did. Sometimes even in very difficult situations, there's pain and upset that breaks the family apart. But I think if we are wise as a country, we will remember this e pluribus unum, that out of many comes one. And to that, we need a degree of tolerance. But we also need a degree of standards. What is acceptable in the society shifts over time and continues to shift over time. And one of the things I like about the way it's shifting now is we are beginning to have a greater sense of acceptance for many of the classes of people that we did not hold for it before. We're beginning to see that their rights, their inalienable rights to be free, need self-expression, need to find the freedom to be themselves, the need to say how they would like the world to treat them. We are now extending that to greater numbers of people. And in so doing, I think what we're doing is we're beginning to form family. Life needs us to begin to see each person with dignity. And what that will do for us as human beings, as individuals and as a country, what that will do was to bring a greater sense of dignity to ourselves. Then I can relax a bit. I don't need to be so righteous. I don't need to be so angry or so indignant at what other people are doing. I can be more accepting. I can sit down at the table with them like Jesus did and share a meal. I can speak to them with, if we can truly embrace the promise of America, I think we will begin to become a more spiritual nation, a more really Christian nation, whether we use the name Christian or not, whether we're Muslim or Jewish or Buddhist or agnostic. We could be a more Christian nation by bringing love and acceptance to our neighbors. Sense of wasting our spiritual and emotional energy on things that separate us will be diminished. And it will allow us to focus more clearly on the enduring and deep and true things about life, the ones that last, the ones that are universal. And when we see the world with an eye toward what is true and what is universal, then it will be easier for us to penetrate the mysteries of this life, begin to see what is the true nature of things. I think when we do that, what we'll see is that we really are divine beings, carrying ourselves around in a body, carrying ourselves around in a body that has a particular face, a particular shape, a particular culture, etc., but divine beings in this grand expression of life.